Hello everyone, welcome to Ring Diaries with me Fiona Mbowa here at Church of Uganda Family TV. Ring Diaries is a place and a space where we talk about marriage, anything to do with marriage. And we bring you real people to share their real experiences of how they're making their marriages work. And today we're talking about a topic that is very close to my heart and very interesting for me, and that is transparency and honesty in marriage. Is it even supposed to be? What level should we be transparent? Are there things we shouldn't be able to share with our spouses? Things like that. And to discuss this topic, two amazing people. And next to me is Stella. Please, Stella, greet the viewers and introduce yourself.
Hello viewers, I'm honored to be here on the Family TV today. Stella Sanobokelo is my name.
You're very welcome, Stella.
Thank you.
And next to Stella, we have Ivan.
Thank you very much, Fiona, for hosting me. My name is Ivan Kajimu. I'm a married man with one wife and 3 children. So
That is important. One wife.
one wife
One wife, yes.
and a woman.
And a woman. Very important. So Ivan has been married for 10 years and Stella has been married for coming to 21 years this year. So it's a lot of experience, and we're going to share this experience as we talk about transparency and honesty in marriage. Now, most marriages in Uganda, you cannot bring transparency and marriages together. And yet I think that is what it should actually be. Like there should be a place of transparency in our marriages. So what is transparency? What do you think transparency is, Stella?
Okay, thank you, Fiona. Transparency speaks to the virtue of being honest, of being open, of speaking the truth, of just being bare and not hiding any secrets. Transparency speaks to living a straight life within your marriage. Transparency speaks to bringing your entire life bare and not holding back anything. To me, that is what transparency relates to.
Being there to your spouse. We have some scars our spouses may not take in very well. I don't know, Ivan, do you have any other? What is transparency to you?
Thank you. I will not differ from what Stella said. Transparency to me, first of all, it is openness, being honest to yourself and to your spouse or other people. I will actually say it is a door that you open up yourself for other people to enter. Unfortunately, sometimes if you open up that door, some people might hurt you when they enter. So you start now putting boundaries. But I think everyone start with that heart of being open.
We all want to be open.
Exactly.
Life has just hardened us.
You know, yes, life just beating us here and there, then you start resisting.
So with my openness, because we come into marriage at different levels. Some of us come into marriage when you're still that open and willing to be transparent. And then there are those who come to marriage when we've been hurt enough that we do not want to. How do we strike a balance in this marriage now? With my spouse, we are settled. How do we strike a balance? You may be for you you have come in with your openness, like I want to be open, but yet for me, I've been hardened a bit. How do we strike a balance between the two?
Okay, I'll take it. We've talked about honesty and transparency being the virtue, the attribute of being very, very open with your spouse. And the Bible teaches us in the book of Genesis chapter 2, verse 24 and 25, that a man shall leave his mother and his father and come and be joined to his wife, and the two shall be one flesh. How will you be one flesh when you are not in agreement? How will you be one flesh when you're keeping issues from one another? How will you be one flesh when you're not being honest with your spouse? So we need to start with the first things first. When you're starting this marriage, you start it off on a foundation of each of us is going to speak the truth, is going to live the truth, is going to act out the truth. So what we say is actually what we do within our marriage. So if along the way issues happen and somebody starts to be shady, and the issue becomes, do you also become shady because your partner has decided to turn around? It takes us again to the Bible, where the Lord tells us He will deal with us according to our deeds. But also, if we become unfaithful, the Lord says He cannot deny Himself, He will remain faithful. So if you've come into marriage, you've come to be faithful to this marriage, you've come to be faithful, you've come to be honest, you've come to be bare, you've come to be true. You've brought truth and integrity into this marriage. So if your partner decides to play otherwise, you remain true to yourself. Because being sincere is about me as a person. I cannot be sincere to you before I am sincere to myself first. So if you choose to be shady, I choose to be sincere within the relationship.
But now, thank you very much, Stella. So, if I have chosen to be honest, first of all, what does that look like? What does being transparent look like?
To me, transparency is about be clear, be clean, be sincere. And this revolves around issues to do with how do we manage our finances? How do we live our day to day lives? Are we faithful to the vows that we have made to one another before the Lord? That is all playing out sincerity. For example, when we say we are going to be as open as possible, we are going to live our lives to the utmost truth that we honestly believe. An example would be I am earning a salary in a certain place that I work in, and probably my husband is also earning a salary. Should we be honest with one another? Those are conversations that we need to have. And on a personal level, honesty with how much I earn is key for my marriage to work out in the direction of sincerity. And I expect my husband should also be able to return that. When we talk about our phones, are there things that we should hide away? Should we have passwords on our phones that are not known to our spouse? For me, my personal standard is let's be open. Let our phones be open to one another. My husband should be able to go to my phone and check and see what is going on in my phone. I should also have the liberty to go to my husband's phone and say what is going on in his phone.
Ivan, you don't
That's
seem, Ivan doesn't seem
sincerity
to
to me.
believe this.
No, I believe you, but sometimes it beats my understanding. Why should someone start investigating? Okay, I want to check your phone to see what? I want to check your phone to find out if you're chatting with the other one or the other one or the other one. I want to believe that it is always a trigger why someone would like to check your phone. I think this is when you're no longer transparent, you don't honest, someone is suspecting.
But can't I just check the phone just because I'm bored? I need to just.
Don't you have your phone? Why are you checking mine?
I know all my conversations, so now I'm coming
So
to
you
check
want to
you.
mine, to Google
Yes.
from my phone?
Yes.
Anyway, it's okay. Jumping from there, transparency, like I said, it is the door. Everyone joining marriage will come with the intentions of joy. I want to be transparent to my spouse. Everything I want to be well. But on the way, like I said, you open up the door, then you start being hit by different things. And you start resisting, you start putting boundaries. But even in the beginning, yes, sometimes people court for a certain period of time, maybe short or long, but you never get to know this person deep.
Yes.
Till you are there. You start staying with this person, you start discovering different habits. But your heart, you came when you want to be transparent. Maybe you start checking it. You say, I got this salary, so how can we do with it? You misuse the money. You are transparent, you disclosed all the money, but it was misused. So say, okay, now the next one, am I going to disclose? They have increased my salary. Should I remain with the other one or the one they have increased? So you start gambling. But there's always a cause. I want to believe that no one comes in marriage with a negative attitude or spoiling what you have entered into. There is always a trigger why things start turning around. And those things you have to be very careful on them. I identifying them. How? I always tell people marriage is everyday work,
Mm.
and it is a learning institution. You have to have that openness of learning your spouse every day.
Mm.
We have the love languages, there are 5.
Yes.
We always know this wants this, but they keep changing. Someone who used to love gifts, now you have children, she wants quality time.
Mm.
But you know at first, oh, she likes gifts. You have to pay fees. Are you going to be buying gifts there and there? You have to know each day what is changing. We are human beings, we change. A lot of things change us. So, the thing of transparency really perturbs me. It perturbs me. We all want to be transparent.
But there are things that hinder us to be transparent.
Yes. Yes.
But shouldn't we still remain on our values of being transparent regardless? As Stella actually said, that because you have done something, it should not turn me to now change the way I am because of what you've done.
You have to sense the impact. You can start by being transparent. To the cores, you have to be transparent. Okay, if for you are transparent and your partner is not, things seem not to balance. I'm disclosing my salary, she's not. You know, someone on the way you discourage also. Or you start copying the habit. Like we say, if
copy the habit.
Yes, if they don't change you, you will change that person. You cop up and go move together. But I don't discourage people that not to be transparent. They have to make sure they're transparent to their spouses. However much the things come, your spouse is not transparent, but for you, okay, continue being transparent.
Stella, do you think that, okay, from what Evan is saying, there are some things we learn along the way, but do you think there are times when transparency causes more harm than good?
Yes, that is very true. But I believe, like any virtue, it has the pros and the cons. But you have to weigh and say the benefit of doing something has to outweigh the cost of doing it. For instance, when it comes to the issue of insincerity within your relationship, and your partner is having trouble with the way you're living out or with the way that you are being transparent, how do you move on from there? The truth is, transparency at the end of the day has a higher reward than not being transparent. If transparency causes you certain problems, in my view, those are temporary problems.
There are some which are not temporary.
Like which one, Fiona?
I don't know.
Like which one, Fiona?
If I know that by disclosing that I had an issue, maybe I took a loan. By disclosing to my husband that I took a loan, it's going to bring us issues. Wouldn't I rather not disclose?
My honest view is that it's always good to look at this issue from the point of the actual repercussions. Think about what will happen in case your spouse actually discovers that you went behind their back and you got this loan. And what did you do with this loan without telling them? The repercussion, the trust that you'll have broken between you and your spouse as a result of holding back important information, for me, is a bigger issue to address. It's a more negative, it has a permanent damage on your relationship than coming out to be open with the issue of you getting.
Isn't there a chance this loan may never be found?
My honest view, like the Bible tells us, everything that is done in the secret, it will always come out into the light. The Bible actually talks about whatever you do in the hiding, it will be shouted out on the rooftops. So, like they say, 40 days of a thief. On the 40th day, you'll actually be caught. There will be one little document, one little something that will actually reveal, even just in your own conversation with your spouse, you will unintentionally actually mention that there's something you're doing on the side, or there's some money that you collected, and that will already be the beginning of the trouble. So my honest view is, whatever you do, do it in the open. Do what you know that even if it is screamed out on the rooftop, you're not going to have any guilt. It is okay. You will not have shame. You will not feel a sense of guilt. You know that what you're doing is actually a correct thing. And me, that is my position on the issue of sincerity. Do what you know. When it comes out, you're proud that you actually did that.
Ivan, what do you think? Don't you? And there are instances where being honest actually causes more harm than good.
Absolutely, there are instances where that honesty, that transparency can cause harm. For example, I have some friends of mine. The guy was really transparent. He deals in properties. He used to buy a lot of properties and discloses to the wife. We got here, we got land here, we got land there. But this woman was a big spender. There's a trip in Dubai, let us sell the other land. And we couldn't tell her there is no money. But we have property, why don't we sell? So it became really a hassle and an exchange between them. There is property, why don't you sell this and go here? So this man discovered, okay, she knows all the properties. Now other properties are not disclosed. You get? Because when I
Protect him.
yes, to protect from just wasting money anyhow. So he started not disclosing all the properties. Like you said, then she discovered. Because at first the properties were in two names. She discovered later that this guy now has started buying
In his own name.
in his own names. And the woman was like, I discovered you have properties in your own name. Am I still not your wife? Or you buying for another woman?
So that brings us what Stella is saying.
Exactly.
Once
it has
she
come to light.
finds out,
She has found out and it is really now a tug of war. But the problem was her. I think sometimes it's about failing to solve these issues. And there is a break of communication somewhere. Because if this man, I was talking to them, I was telling him, okay, did you tell her that we acquire these properties for a certain issue, some maybe in future, not to spend? Like, I love my wife. I want to give her what she asks
whatever she
for,
wants.
But at the end of that day, they got issues. He wanted to look for maybe a shortcut, not to communicate directly to annoy the wife, but they ended up quarreling all through because of that.
So would you blame that person for not being honest the next time?
I would, if he had communicated, because communication is key. All these issues come in because of failure to communicate right, maybe even the right time, maybe even the right tone. So I think if he's honest and he's communicating to the wife about the intentions of getting all these properties, and she does not listen, I will not blame him
For not being.
for not being transparent from other properties.
So meaning transparency should be looked at case by case basis?
Exactly.
Or it's just a blanket, we should actually be transparent?
It should be looked at case by case.
But then when we reach a time and we're actually defending some things, because anything can be good if you put a good story to
There's not being transparent in protection of something. For example, if I have a very weird disease, I have cancer, and I assess the impact. If I tell my family today that I have cancer, I've been diagnosed with cancer, God forbid, I get to know even the period of time I'm going to stay, then the question is, when am I going to tell my family? I first resist. First of all, I'm also in denial. I don't want to take it, that I have it to take me this time. And I first resist, hesitate not to tell her. That is being selfish, but still I'm protecting her.
How are you protecting her by not telling?
No, not getting hurt like I am. For the good. I want my wife to be happy. If I tell them now these things, they won't
Stella, please.
Okay, like I've already mentioned, always weigh the impact of your non-disclosure and the impact of the disclosure. Which one will hit your partner bigger. The truth remains the truth. Whether you want to sugarcoat it or you want to delay it or you want to do it, however long time you take, your wife will still have to get to know that indeed you have a life-threatening disease. So the earlier you bring it on the table, the better for you, because it actually gives you ample time to talk about it together, to discuss it, and come up with winning solutions in order to be able to address the issue. So the position is, whenever you have the truth, whenever you have something to disclose, it is always good to bring it up immediately.
Okay, on the same scenario, here I'm trying to protect the expense on me who has got the disease. I know we have children there in school. I know how much we get. If now I tell them we have cancer, and we have to be spending this much on me who has cancer, even when I'm told the period of time, I'm going to be here. And I want my children to still go to school.
So you just keep quiet and
I keep quiet. The other money would have been spent on me for health. It goes to the school
fees. But you're
fees.
depriving me of an opportunity to take care of you as my spouse.
Yes, because now you know the things of cancer. They give you a specific period of time. 1 year. By December next year you will be gone. I just always my thing. Because I want you to be happy. I sacrifice my happiness for your sake.
No.
My honest view is that truth has to be spoken. You know, the truth is like a pregnancy. However long you hide it, it still has to come out. People will still get to know that you're indeed pregnant. I would like to use an example of many of us use maids in our homes. Look at a time when you're searching for a maid and finally you get a girl coming into your home to do your domestic activities. And this person comes and is quietly keeping quiet with their pregnancy. And you know that at a certain point, this pregnancy is actually going to come out. So whether they keep quiet or they do not keep quiet, we are still going to get to know that they are actually pregnant. The cancer in this case, we shall still get to know, because cancer is going to compromise your ability to deliver, your ability to work. You're going to be sickly. I will still get to know whether you tell me or you do not tell me that there is indeed something that is eating at you. And in transparent relationships, you're able to tell that something is not going well with your partner. Just from their body expression, just from their facial look, you're able to know something is eating at my spouse. So transparency helps you to get to know your partner so well that there are things that they cannot even hide. You just read through them and know something is not going well.
Okay, I am trying to understand Ivan, but I'm also trying to understand you. But let me give a scenario. I think maybe what Ivan gave is something that you can't hide. Like you cannot hide when eventually it will eventually come out. But what if it's something that actually may not come out, and you want to protect the other person?
Fiona, I've already mentioned it.
It will always come out.
The truth will always come out. There is a saying that however long the truth takes, it will eventually appear on the scene and validate whatever facts are on the ground. And like the Bible says, what you do in the secret, where you think it is only you who knows it, as long as God is watching and seeing it, a time will come where God will also reveal it and scream it out to the entire world to know. So don't wait for that time when your dirty something is going to be brought in the open, because the implication, the repercussions on your relationship will be much bigger than you actually coming out to own it and say, this is me, I did this. Yes, you'll suffer some probably rejection, you'll suffer some harshness from your partner, but at the end of the day, the harshness you'll suffer with your partner is more manageable, and you cannot compare it with the repercussion of it being screamed out from outside when it is not coming from you.
I want to pose a question to Stella. Sorry. If you cheat on your husband, okay, something happened, you are tempted, maybe you are there for a trip, you sleep with a certain man. Not because you have been in love with that person, but you are tempted and you sleep with that person. You come back home and your husband does not notice. 1, 2, 3 years, 5. Maybe you didn't tell him. Okay. Would you let all that long before telling him, or would you keep quiet forever?
Personally, I've not experienced that kind of thing, so I wouldn't really advise. I wouldn't advise a theoretical advice,
Yes, yeah.
but my honest position and view is
They come
The
back and
truth-
tell you by them.
the truth is always a better alternative, and the earlier you speak it, the better. When we talk about transparency and honesty, it does not mean that we are 100%. No, we are not 100%. We go astray. There are things that sometimes life just happens,
Yeah.
and you find you've actually erred.
Yeah.
But what you do after you've erred is more important than the error.
Wow.
So how long you take to come out and own up your error and say, this is me, I did this. Because secondly, the guilt you're going to live with, knowing you have something that you're hiding within you. You cannot be comfortable in your skin, moving up and down, smiling with your partner, when you know there is a dark something somewhere within you. You cannot be comfortable. Your personal guilt alone will push you to a point where you have to repent and own up and say, please forgive me.
We're going to go
Okay,
there.
we're going to take a short break. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation of transparency. Should we disclose or shouldn't we disclose? Don't go away. I'm Fiona Mbowa here at Church of Uganda Family TV with Ring Diaries.